Now, because I know that you've made her wear it, I'm not going to be as, I'm still going to be kind to her, mind you, but I'm not going to be as standoffish, if you will, like I was with the flag, because that was new. But I'm going to walk up to her and start to rub it. Until, I'm not just going to rub it on her until she stops, because I know that she can do this, okay? I'm going to rub it on her until I see a sign of relaxation. If you notice her head, now she's looking at that tarp. God. If you noticed her head a second ago was way up here, and her eyes were big, and her ears were not back pinned, but just back and kind of worried, I didn't stop until that demeanor changed. That's the important thing I want you to see with her and your future horse, any future horse, is that I want that, more of that reaction than, okay, I'm just going to stand here and I guess I'll be okay with this. Because well, I'm not going to, but if I were to just let this tarp go and partially fall on the ground and start flapping it, would she be okay with that? No. Okay, right? So I want them okay with whatever the tarp does anytime, but they can't be okay with that anytime until they start to show signs of relaxation. So I'm just going to wait until she relaxes. That's the time to take the tarp away. If you just have the tarp on her back like this and she's like, okay, it's there, I'm just going to wait, then she's never going to relax until you take it away. So she's licking her lips, which is good. But until you take it away once she starts to relax.
So that looks like she's
that's better. I'm going to give her just another second. But that was licking the lips. Her head went down just a little bit. But because she's still tense, I'm just going to wait just a little longer, okay? She's starting to get distracted. That's fine. I don't mind. I'd rather her not worry about what's going on back here and get distracted. So still tense. And I'm just rubbing in the same area just to try to see if she'll relax even a little bit more for me. So this is where, like, you talk about, you know, I don't want my horse to be a deadhead, right? She won't be. That's not her personality, okay? But she is so high anxiety or nervous of these scary objects that I actually kind of want her to be that way in this sense, in scary object sense, not in a riding sense, not in a dead to my legs sense, but these are two different things, okay? I'm not riding her right now asking for legs, you know, leg yielding, right? Good girl. So, and I see what you mean by she's kind of not with me, right? At times, you know, earlier I probably could have taken the tarp away when she licked her lips and dropped her head, but I know she can give me more. I know she's just so anxious. Obviously she's standing okay, her legs cocked, but she's kind of so anxious right now that I'm just going to wait her out, okay? A little distracted. So her head's lower.
It was okay to pull her head back over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Because if she's not going to do it for you, she's never going to do it. I want her with you. That doesn't mean she has to stand here with her head at you the whole time. But I want her to realize that her disconnecting herself, if you will, and not being with you is not the answer. She has to be present about this. I'm going to move down her back a little bit. See how she's more tense the further back it gets? So she's trying really hard to be relaxed, and by that I mean her legs cocked. It's been cocked almost this whole time. This time and earlier with the flag. Her body is tense. So she's really not okay with any of this. She's learned to show you the release here. She's like, okay, I'm relaxed. But is she? No. You know she's not. Right now she could care less about what I'm doing up here, more about what the cat's doing on that tarp. Good. Now the kitty's not on there anymore. Now, for the sake of time, I'm just going to move on over here and try to get some nice relaxation over here. Now, also be mindful, good girl, be mindful of when you're rubbing this on her. If she's a little nervous of it on the opposite side right now, don't go to the opposite side yet. And this speaks for your future horse as well. Just, I don't know him, so I don't know how he would react. But because when you do this, if she's not okay with that, like I just spent 10 minutes over there practically, but if she's not okay with that, then she's going to jump towards you to get away from it. So be mindful of your body, your presence. I know you can't, well, I know the video can't see this, but her bottom lip is quivering. She's not relaxed. She's trying mentally, but she's just not really with it. But she's tense. That shows even more so that she's tense. Or on top of the other things she's showing tense-wise. I'll take that away for now. I'm going to go right back. Okay. Again, I want this tarp. So we won't get it today. That's fine. But I want this tarp to go between her legs, under her belly, all over her head eventually. That, she wants to lose her mind on this tarp being just on the side of her belly. I'm just going to casually follow her with it. She's not thrilled about it. She's showing me with her face. Lip is quivering. Now, if she did something nasty right now, or she really flattened her ears back, I'd correct her for it. But she's just not thrilled about what's going on right here. And at times, I'm rubbing it a little bit, but sometimes I'm not. I'm just letting it sit there. She's not like it. It seems to me like she's just learned to be okay with some of this stuff, because it will go away, but she's never really relaxed to it. That could be a large part of the problem, is that she will suffer through it, but she's not okay with it. So I am going to ask her I'm going to guide her, right? Ask her to relax her head a little bit. The beautiful thing about horses is they're very forgiving. They live in the moment, okay? We don't live in the moment often. I don't even. Like, I tell everyone, you have to be present, be with your horse, be in the moment. I struggle with that sometimes. That is me or you or anybody saying, well, I've done it this way for so long, how do I change it? You just do. You just change it, because they're forgiving enough, and in the moment all the time, they are willing to forget about the past, because they're not in the past. She's not thinking about these things that you did 500 times, for 2 years or however long that was. She's thinking about right now. So if I can change her mind right now, we can, and you know how to continue to change her mind, she'll get over this and move on and be better almost in the blink of an eye. That's how incredible horses are.
But I guess what I'm wondering is how is this so different than the things I had been doing previously with the tarp? Because I was doing the same thing. It's like rubbing on her, making sure trying to make sure she's paying attention, putting her head down low, trying to make sure she's relaxing. But she's clearly just still suffering through it.
Yeah, and don't take my words when I say suffering through it. She's not like, it's not detrimental to her. She's not suffering, but she's just,
it's like she's coping.
Horses can do that, okay? Horses can, even horses that are, let's give you an example, like lesson horses, okay? If they are not regularly tuned up, you put a kid on them and you can kick them, or the kid will kick them and say, let's go. And the horse will learn, because this is how the horses are, they will learn that if they suffer through 35 kicks, and not suffer, if they stand there and put up with 35 kicks, the kid will give up. And then they're like, okay, well, if I just wait, it'll go away. That they're not always thinking, like, in this moment for her, she's not thinking of, yes, she's nervous, but she's not thinking about all those other times. She's thinking, well, if I do the physical thing, so if I put my head down and I cock my leg, she'll stop, right? That's just the way that they learn sometimes, or they can learn. What I'm trying to show you is the body language, the eyes, her blinking slower, her softening her ears, softening her face, her mouth, licking, yes, lowering your head, yes, cocking your leg. But there's other things that will relax her mind, not only her mind, obviously her body, but you just have to wait it out sometimes. Horses can learn that, okay, if I just cock my leg, they'll stop. I've seen it before, where someone will be desensitizing and the horse will finally just cock their leg, but they're like this. Yeah. And then the person stops and they don't continue, okay? So that's ultimately the problem.
So it's just not continuing it to make sure.
Yeah, you could say it's like following through on this. I want to follow through on her relaxation, right? I've been rubbing this on her for the last 10-15 minutes, except for that moment we were talking, and now she's nervous of it again. Yeah. Right?
And this is what I see then. I will work with her, she'll be fine with it, come out the next day, and it's like she's never been touched.
Right. It's because she's not fine with it. That right there tells me she's not fine with it. She doesn't like it on her back. Her head up. She's not fine with it. Her leg's not cocked right now. That's fine. But ultimately, she's not, because she hasn't given you those signs of relaxation. I've also seen horses that, just to get out of a similar reaction, so like they're nervous of something and you're asking them to drop their head, and if they drop their head and they just stand here really tense, you'll stop asking them to drop their head. Then they learn how to be tense down here, right?
Well, and that's what she's starting to do with
Yeah, and it's just, it's partially how she is. It's just personality in a sense. She was, for 2 years, wild, right? And had these things in her past where she got rounded up and she was afraid of everything because she'd never been desensitized, etc., etc. You can go on and on, but she can move on from that, and she has, but she still can be nervous. That lip that's twitching, what I'd like to wait on is her to lick her lips and lower her head. It's paying attention to those things. So she may have, while you've been desensitizing, may have just learned that it'll go away if she shows signs of relaxation. That doesn't mean she's okay with it. That's why you wait. That's why you do more. That's why you push the boundaries a little in terms of how comfortable they are, because I want them to be really comfortable with everything, okay? But if I show her this and I'm like, well, she touched it, well, I don't have to do tarps anymore. That's not you. I'm not saying that's you, but that's just an example. Has she been okay with it this whole time? No. I'm going to push the boundaries, and I'm going to start doing stuff like this. Just like with the flag, I want her to be okay with all these scary things in any way or any manner that they show themselves. That's why, like, when I do tarp stuff, I probably spend a couple hours on it, and I'll do it daily. I'll have them cross it. I will ask them to cross it, walk, trot, canter across the tarp, and be okay with it. I will cover them entirely with it. I'll go in and out of their legs with the tarp. That's when they're not as nervous of it, right? I'm not gonna try to go through their legs with the tarp if they're still that nervous, but you have to push the boundaries a little, because if she doesn't realize, if she will just touch it and then I take it away and say, well, good job, we're done with tarps, then she's never going to know to be okay with this. And she's never going to know to be okay with this. All over her, flapping in the wind. Right? She's licking her lips, but she's still tense. Push the boundaries, right? Make her uncomfortable so that you can show her how not to be uncomfortable. Okay? Guide her through it, right? Those are all the things that we do when we desensitize. Obviously, you've done this before. I get that. She's somewhat okay with it, but in the grand scheme, when I go ahead and take this away and put it back on her, she's not going to be okay with that, right? So we have to do all these things in many different ways. I can't just put the tarp here and leave it and be like, okay, well, she did it. It's on her. No, I want it all over her, and I want it flapping around on her, right? That, if you can see on this side, I don't know if she's doing it on that side. She's very jumpy. She doesn't like it. I don't care. I want you to be okay with it. Not just okay, but comfortable. Right now she's tolerating me. She doesn't want to, but she is. I'm going to come over here to this side and do a little bit of this. Eventually, I tie this to their saddle. Once they're more comfortable with it, mind you. Good. She's licking her lips. So I notice those things. I like to point them out because I notice when she softens her mouth, when she relaxes her face, when she cocks a leg, which she's not. But that doesn't always mean that she's ready to have that taken away right now. That's better, right? But she still wants to throw her head up. She's still worried about it. The only reason I'm pushing it a little more with her is, like I said earlier, because I know she can do this. I just want to see those relaxation signs. Her eyes are softer. They're not as wild and crazy looking. I'm going to gently ask her head to just come this way a tick. And then I'm going to help her a little bit, guide her with her head low. That doesn't mean she's all that relaxed, right? She's honestly not hardly even paying attention to me, in a way. Which also tells me, like, again, she's okay with it, kind of, but she's still tense. She's still, in the grand scheme, again, she's not going to be okay with it when it does something different than what it's doing now. I'm going to get her attention back on me. I want you, if you want to come a little close, you can. I want you to tell me when I should take this away.
It's like I'm sniffing it. I don't like it.
Yeah. I'm just doing the same thing. Honestly, I'm probably being pretty annoying right now. I don't care. I want her to be almost, yep. Yep. And honestly, she's not all that with me right now.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's like you get her to focus and be with you.
You keep doing it. It's repetition until she learns that if she can unlock her brain, if you will, and become okay with it. You see her lower lip? Very quivery, so she's just tense. Watching, I believe, Rachel roll up the hose over there, because that's more entertaining than what she's doing right now. Not even entertaining, it's just not as terrible as what's happening to her right now, in her opinion. Good. I'm gonna, oh, well, I was gonna take it away. Probably missed my opportunity. I could have taken it away there, but that's fine. Her eyes are softer still. Her lips still quivering. There. That was a couple really good times that she licked her lips in a row. She still has to follow it. She can't be all nervous about it. So that's where I took it away.